Yeah, I think in that verse specifically, the only thing I heard coming up was the American dream until we started being successful. And it was like, wait a minute, you're selling out because you're making money. That was the first thing that was put on musicians. People had this law for the struggling artist. That's a mind game, what we would call back in the day for technology. It was like, no, I'm not going for that. Like, no, I make art first. And then I make sure that I'm compensated for my art. I didn't take advantage. I didn't get here by taking advantage of people. I didn't take it, no one.
This podcast is for entertainment purposes only. The thoughts, views shared here are just that, views. We just conversing, sharing perspective while having fun. So don't take this shit personal, and definitely don't try this at home. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Let's get to it.
The Trevor Jackson Podcast.
What's poppin' with the family today, man? If you here with me and you support the channel, hit the like button off top, share this on your social platform so you can contribute to the evolving of this show. But thank you for your presence. Let me give everybody tuned in a round of applause. You know, we got a lot to discuss this week, man. It's been all kind of stuff going on just rapidly, back to back to back to back. Drake announced that his new album is coming out, ICEMAN. We're going to tap into that. Wayne, the situation that he's dealing with on the latter end of his career, not being accepted to award shows and festivals and stuff. We're going to have a conversation about that. Kamala Harris is back outside promoting her book. That's one of the political topics we're going to talk about. I haven't been discussing foundational Black American business as of recently, but we're going to get into it heavy this week because Black Alpha was at the event that Kamala Harris was at, and he stood up and he stood on business, reparations business. A Houston police officer got fired also. I think her name is Ashley Gonzalez. We got to check that out, tap into that, because she made some racial slurs on her TikTok and all of that. And what's some of the other topics I got? The southeastern region of the United States is currently having a boom. And we're going to get into that also. I got a perspective on that and a ideology that I want to speak about that, because a lot of people in the southeastern region are excited about it. But I have a take that I think y'all will think is interesting also. I've been meaning to talk about Boosie and Vlad's relationship for the last 2 weeks. I didn't speak on it, but I think as a content creator, it is necessary. But, you know, if you new here and you ain't used to the vibes, before we start every podcast, we play some records from what was released this week. We get into the groove. Salute to the people that's working out in the gym. Salute to the people that's traveling to their destination so they can go get their bag. If you headed to church today, if you headed to anywhere positive and you doing your thing, man. Let's get to this new Kalani, man. Real talk.
Morning gang, it's only Wayne. This is the day after the storm that came. Can't find me. I'm lost in a tsunami that is Kalani. Like a diamond in a rough. She never want another. Fuck them other niggas, cause she down for her niggas. She don't fuck with other niggas if the crown doesn't fit them. Need a king to compliment the queen of hearts. I'm the dealer, ace of space, popping with her jokers while I'm wilder than them. She don't need another lover. I'ma need another rubber. I'ma fuck her in the mirror and say I'm seeing another woman. And if she let me love her, she would never let another. Promise she gon' X the others once we easy F each other. Okay. Yes, Lord.
Trying to remind myself how you felt before. No.
Salute to Kalani. Her self-titled album is phenomenal. It features Lil Wayne on it, The Clips, Brandy, Missy Elliott, Usher, T-Pain, Lil Jon, Cardi B, Big Sean, Leon Thomas. Phenomenal album. Another round of applause to Kalani. You know, I'm in a state and in a place where musically I'm starting to not care about the genre of music that I, fancy, because hip hop is what I prioritize and everything, but I'm just looking forward to good music because it's starting to become a rarity. It's a lot of independent artists. It's a lot of major artists that's dropping back to back. It's so much music that we get every Friday that I go straight to what I feel as if the hottest. Lil Jon dropped this week. Ludacris dropped a single. It was so many records though, but that Kalani album stood out to me the most, man. It was, a great body of work, and I suggest y'all go check that out. Hold on. Let me turn my jazz down. So the first topic of discussion we're going to get into this week is Drake's new album, The Iceman. And I want to give my thoughts on what I expect from it. Coming out of the battle, the beef and all of that type of stuff, people switching sides on Drake. This is an interesting time in his career, and I feel like this might be his most pivotal release of his career. Let's get into the news.
This is certainly the place to be if you're a Drake fan. Right now, the ice sculpture is actually blocked off to prevent people from getting too close. But this publicity stunt has really attracted hundreds of people since yesterday. You can take a closer look at it right there. Still barely melted at this point, right? But people have certainly been trying. Lots of fans have been eager to get their hands on the album release date frozen inside, some getting pretty creative to do it. Hundreds of people have been flocking to this ice sculpture teasing Drake's new album, Iceman. Some dressing up.
I'm actually Drake. What do you mean? I'm Aubrey Grant.
Others taking souvenirs.
Drake Ice?
Yeah, cheers. Wait, oh, crap.
The frozen spectacle is located in a parking lot on Bond Street. Drake posted photos of himself beside the sculpture on Instagram with the caption, "Release date inside." Some fans couldn't wait for it to melt.
We just bought this for Iceman coming, make a Minecraft tunnel, quickly mine it up. We're so hyped. Everyone here is hyped for the album. Let's go.
He isn't the only one. Video posted online shows people trying to set fire to the sculpture and using sledgehammers to break off the ice. Police were called to the area just after 11 Monday night.
We did have reports of individuals trying to chip away at the ice sculpture with hammers, pickaxes, and obviously chunks of ice falling is a safety concern for a lot of people. So police got on scene and managed that crowd.
No one was injured. A music business professor says more artists are turning to marketing tactics like this to have their work stand out.
People are taking photos, posting it on social media, and people are sharing it, and people want to come and be part of this. So it creates that excitement and that buzz that general releases don't have.
Drake has been doing a lot to promote this album recently, including having his courtside Raptors seats frozen. There was also a controlled explosion last week connected to a Drake video shoot that shocked residents in the Downsview Park area. Tuesday afternoon, this Twitch streamer pulled out a package from the ice containing the supposed release date of May 15th. His involvement with the campaign is unclear, and Drake's team has not confirmed any of this.
Honestly, I think the marketing team needs a raise.
Everybody's smiling and greeting each other and sharing time together. This is how you drop an album.
Police are still on scene, and there's private security here to help control the crowds and make sure nobody actually climbs this ice sculpture as they were earlier. It's also fans can come together and enjoy this safely. Back to you.
Awesome. Great job, Nicole. Thanks so much.
I'm going to give an unpopular take right now before I get into some more of the commentary of what I think about the album, what to expect from the album and stuff like that. But I think Drake losing that battle was good for his career. I think it was strategic from Kendrick Lamar, the way he approached it and came at it after Drake went off tour. Most of the time when artists go off of tour, they go into hiding and relaxing and resting for a while. He dropped a diss track the end of Drake's tour and put him right back to work. That was an uncomfortable time. But the reason why I say that I feel as if it was good for Drake, because he had dominated hip hop for over a decade. The biggest, and not just hip hop, but music in general. He was the most funded artist, the most streamed artist, the biggest selling artist in the world for over a decade. And me, I feel like I'm the type of person that like when artists take a step back for a while. He hasn't released nothing since 2023. And taking that step back gives him the time to be able to create a package of high quality content to release the highest level of songs, the highest level of videos, to be able to articulate himself in ways that we have never witnessed him do before. And I have an expectancy that this is going to be the best album of his career. That's just my perspective of it. And also, do we think we're going to see the regular characters on this album? The Futures, the Young Thugs, the 21 Savages. I got to expect to see that 21 Savage will be on the album, but people have been saying that Future is confirmed to be on the album, but I don't know. You know, will we get the Houston record, that slow, drawn down south feel? Will we have some Memphis production? Because, you know, Drake and Memphis and his father has a connection, and that production right now is the production that the whole industry is mimicking. I'm interested in this album. I would be anticipating some big features on this album. Will we get a Jay-Z feature? Will we get a Kanye West feature? You know, a Nicki Minaj or a Lil Wayne feature? Because, you know, we know that him and Lil Wayne was at odds. And right now, Lil Wayne is saying things on the internet about the industry pulling back from him. You know, I'm excited about this Drake album, and I want to know y'all thoughts in the comment section below. Let's move along with this Lil Wayne commentary. Lil Wayne put a tweet out that had the whole industry speaking. I'm going to read it to y'all, and we're going to break it down. Lil Wayne said it is truly a humbling experience when events like Coachella and the Grammys come around, and like clockwork, I'm uninvited and uninvolved. I appreciate my position or space I hold in y'all heart and mine. If so, because you're the humbling experience that's timeless. And for that, I thank you. I ain't shit without you. You know, we just played a record from Kalani's new album with Lil Wayne featured on it, and it was a phenomenal record. Lil Wayne, he didn't perform at the Super Bowl. Him and his comrades was bitter about that. He didn't show up to the verses for the Hot Boys and Cash Money with Birdman and all of that. And he said that if we all ain't involved, then I ain't going to be involved. And we seen BG come on an interview after the verses and say that Wayne's health was affecting him. We've seen Wayne's performances as of recently. His health looks as if it's deteriorating, and I wish him nothing but a full recovery or whatever he's dealing with. I hope he gets back on top, but he sounds phenomenal when I listen to the records he's contributing to. He even did one with, I forgot his former artist name, but it dropped last week. I think it's one of them Young Boys that was on his label when Young Money first was created. But this is an interesting situation that, you know, he has an expectation to be at the Grammys, because that album, The Carter 6, wasn't Grammy worthy to me. That's just my take. You know, what was y'all thoughts about The Carter 6? I would like to know in the comment section below. Coachella, you know, I feel like, you know, he's a big artist. He brought Nicki to the game. He brought Drake to the game. But, you know, we live in a world that is, what have you done for me lately type time. And I don't feel like his performance, after looking at that WWE performance and his most recent performances, I don't think he got nothing to add or no energy to add to Coachella. Just being honest with you. He's a great artist, but he has a horrible performance. And I've opened up for Lil Wayne before, and his performance wasn't like that, to be honest with you, though. But I hate to see him in this position and in this situation, because, you know, he's one of the greats. But this last 2-year span, it seems like it's been a hit piece to minimize Lil Wayne's efforts. And it seems like he needs to get his health together so he can become his best self. Real talk, man. I'm looking forward to this album, though, from Drake. For sure. I'm looking forward to this album. Let's get into this commentary piece. Black Alpha Network, Greg Marshall, he was a person that was representing South Carolina. He was trying to run for a political seat in South Carolina. He pulled up on Kamala Harris when she was having a conversation with The Root about her book. And he had this to say. Let's get to it, man.
You are gifted. You are important. You matter. You come from people. There is pride. There is pride.
On behalf of foundational Black Americans, we demand cash payment reparations, Kamala. On behalf of foundational Black Americans, we demand cash payment reparations. You're not going to use our ancestors' legacy to give money to illegals, immigrants. We're foundational Black Americans. We built this country. We're not voting for you. We're not voting for the Democrats. And we're not voting for anybody until we get paid. Remember that. FBA. Turn around. FBA. Cash payment reparations. Go.
I'm going to play that clip again, but I got to take right quick that I feel is necessary before I play it again. I've been an advocate for reparations since I've been aware of it. My most viewed videos on my channel is about reparations and how reparations is needed beyond slavery. Because, we know about the deuces in Florida. We are knowledgeable about the Wilmington massacre that happened in North Carolina. We know about the Red Summer of 1919. We know about Black individuals not being able to participate in the GI Bill after they came back from war. We know about Black Wall Street in Tulsa, Oklahoma. I can go on and on and on about the things that I know that foundational Black Americans deserve reparations for, but I want to play that again because something pivotal happened, and I feel like it's a divide between men and women, and I hope some women is watching this clip because I need to hear from y'all. Real talk.
You are gifted. You are important. You matter. You come from people. There is pride. There is pride.
On behalf of foundational Black Americans, we demand cash payment reparations, Kamala. On behalf of foundational Black Americans, we demand cash payment reparations. You're not going to use our ancestors' legacy to give money to illegals, immigrants. We're foundational Black Americans. We built this country. We're not voting for you. We're not voting for the Democrats. And we're not voting for anybody until we get paid. Remember that. FBA. Turn around. FBA. Cash payment reparations.
Go. What I want to speak to is that he told Kamala Harris, if you ain't talking about reparations, if you ain't talking about tangibles, then don't expect to get the vote from the foundational Black Americans. Now real talk, I want to say something because I'm in the Carolinas. That brother ran for a seat in South Carolina, and commend to him. The Carolinas is one of the most important blocks of land in this nation because if we let history tell it the way that they want to tell it, they'll say that's where Black people, docked that and became a thing on this land. But we have a different take that we was already here. We are foundational to this place. We are native. This is our native land. And that was created by Dr. Claude Anderson, because I'm going to play a clip of Dr. Claude Anderson talking about native Blacks, foundational Blacks need to delineate from other ethnicities if we ever want to receive reparations. Now, what I want to say before I play that clip to the females, and I want to know y'all thoughts in the comment section to educate me on this. You know, why did they boo that man in defense of Kamala Harris? You know, just because people have some status or they may have achieved some things, he didn't say anything wrong. And the things that he was speaking about was actually beneficial to you. She ain't speaking about no tangibles or holding herself accountable for the actions that she did. She had, been the vice presidency. Obama was the president. Nothing tangible came to black people from that. And previously, like the things that was done for us specifically, government assistance, food stamps, HUD, that's not nothing that can be passed down, or that's not nothing that is tangible that you can pass down. Now, you can't pass down food stamps after you die to your kids. You can't pass down HUD and WIC and all of that old shit after you dead and gone to your kids. What is needed now, and the times has changed. This ain't the 60s. This is 2026. What is needed now, and the only way that we're going to participate in voting, and I've been saying this a long time ago, and I'm glad to see other people like us and like me saying this. What are we voting for? What are we voting for? Real talk. Let me play this clip from Dr. Claude before we break down Kamala Harris and the things that she had to say.
Out of it. You said something earlier in an answer where you said that you talk about native blacks. And so that clearly sounds as if you are delineating native blacks versus someone that comes here from Bermuda or Jamaica or wherever they may they may come from that is black.
That's right.
And the purpose of that is what? Because you on the surface it would be like, hey, everybody here that's black gets treated a certain way. Why are you making that delineation?
That is an excellent point. You know why? Because you see, those people coming in from Jamaica or coming in from Africa, they have not been treated like black folk in this country. That's the first thing. And secondly, historically, they haven't had those historical experiences. They come in here voluntarily. When they come in here, they bring some cultural aspects from Africa. They can go back anytime they want. But the black people in this country are exceptional people. Nobody's been mistreated, maltreated like them. Black folk are exceptional. They're the only people that came here forcefully, one. Two, they're the only people that denied their humanity. Three, they were the only people denied a right to enjoy the fruits of their labor. Four, they were the only people denied the right to participate in government. Five, they were the only people denied the right to vote. Six, they were the only people denied the right to have an education. Seven, they were the only people denied the right to have a business. Eight, they were the only people that participated in every war that this country has had since its founding, but whose mother country has never been against this country. All those immigrants come from countries where they fought America, and they came in. And the seven, that they are the oldest and most patriotic people in the country. Not the Confederates in the South. They're not the most patriotic people waving the Confederate flag. The most patriotic people in this country are black people, native blacks, because you see 99% of all those blacks have been direct descendants of slaves. They've been here before 99% of all the other people ever arrived in this country. They are special people. And because they are special people, they need to be recognized, appreciated, and reparated for what they've done in this country and building this country. They're the ones that built the bridges, the roads, cut the timber, the trees, and cleared the land, raised the tobacco, cotton, indigo. They're the people that fought to raise in every war to protect this country. The people coming from Africa or coming from Jamaica didn't. They came here voluntarily. And the most important point on this is if you lump them with black folk, then you give the dominant white society a justification to say we don't owe black folk anything. Mm-hmm. Because you see, the blackness black people's blackness is more than just color. It is their heritage, it's their history, it's their code of conduct, and more importantly, it is their badge of honor, and it symbolizes the indebtedness that this country has to them. This country does not have an indebtedness to people coming from Africa. Mm-hmm. They only have an indebtedness to people coming in from the Bahamas. Mm-hmm. If you lump black folk in there, you deprive black folk of the benefit, the debt that's owed them. Don't do that.
Whew, you are spitting fire. Let's keep going here.
That's why, salute to Tariq Nasheed for creating foundational Black American terminology. But, I want to give a round of applause to Dr. Claude Anderson because his ideology is what I can resonate with the most. He was talking about when people come from other countries voluntarily, and I want to say something about the Democratic Party before I talk about people coming from the islands in Africa voluntarily. The Democratic Party really hindered themselves with men, black men, because it's easily noticeable that when Biden and Kamala was in office, that they was bringing the immigrants and the migrants over here to replace black people by the millions, because they had noticed that we wasn't voting for them like we used to. We don't believe in the things that they say because it's a belief. It's not an action. We need action. We need tangibles. We don't believe you no more. We don't believe you. So they was trying to replace us. But back to the topic at hand, what Dr. Claude Anderson was talking about, delineation. Black is something that I really don't like that terminology because it's not a people. It's a color. And, identifying with black or African American, because we put in Africa in front of America. So that means we ain't prioritizing the land that we are foundational to. When I think about Jamaicans coming over here, they have something to identify with their land. When I think about Africa, they have something to identify with their land. When Tyler first went on a Breakfast Club and she said that she's not black, she's colored, she didn't identify with what we identify with in America. So she shouldn't have those same privileges and things that we have over here. We don't need to be lumped in. We need to identify with who we are and prioritize who we are and our people, because we're different from them. And they treat us like we different from them. They feel like we lazy. We don't work as hard. They talk bad about us, and we don't do nothing but show them love. And them days are over with. Real talk. Them days are over with. Real talk. He said we was denied the right to education. That still has an impact on us today, because you see, I'm not going to speak totally about us in the way of just like we ain't did things wrong, but I see that we hurt though. We was denied the right to education, and I see how the youth is acting right now with the violence and the killing and all this old type of crazy stuff. And I listen to the music and the denigration of our own individuals and stuff like that. It's kind of crazy. Real talk. But reparations, we standing on it, and we're going to continue to fight for it with our life for the rest of our life. Now, this whole conversation was supposed to be about Kamala Harris. I want to play a few clips of the things that she had to say at this root conversation about her book, and then we're going to continue on with the show.
To be able to do the job of giving everyone else dignity in the process. So this is one of the many examples. These are two of the many examples. And, look, it's been a bit controversial, but one of the things I've been saying is this. As I have reflected on what has been going on, I've come to the realization that part of the issue is part of the frailty, I think, of human nature for some, is they are purely transactional people. They're not pretending to be grounded in morals or values or principles. They're not pretending. They're literally not pretending. They're in it for what they can get out of it. Their mantra is, I'm gonna get mine. I think it's okay for us to be a bit transactional too. And to say, I'm gonna get mine also. And so don't count on me to be a voter and be the backbone of the Democratic Party, because it is my value system and my ethics and my sense of civic duty and responsibility, so that you look at me and say, oh, they're gonna vote, because they will always remember what everyone should remember about the blood that was shed on the Edmund Pettus Bridge. Right. And so they will vote because of high level of care.
You know, she had a point when she talked about the bridge and what had happened from that walk from Selma and that situation that happened in the 60s. But, you know, she's speaking like a motivational speaker or a pastor trying to uplift people. And there's no tangibles in uplifting people to me. You know, I read Kamala Harris's book, the 100 Days book, of her talking about how much time that she had to run for presidency. It was a limited amount of time. And, you know, I was kind of harsh on her, and I'm tired of being harsh on her. But she had a point with what she said right there. Hold them accountable. Now, I've been preaching for years since Obama. The only time I ever voted in my whole life was Obama's first term. And after that, well, how old was I back then? I was like 26, 24 or something like that. I was 26. And I realized that I was just hyped up. It was a racial vote, and I was excited just to see a man that I perceived to be a foundational Black American winning the presidency, when I realized that he wasn't. And there wasn't no tangibles attached to Obama winning. So, you know, when she talked about morals in that clip, just being a participant in politics and capitalism removes the morals. What I want to say is that, you know, as a people, 13% of this country, if there's no tangible conversation, then there shouldn't be no vote. Real talk.
Today. She's helping us. She's helping us. She is helping us. And when you look at our country, we seem to just not be able to take the leap of trusting a woman with the presidency. Other developed nations around the world have been able to do that. In these United States of America, we seem to be having a challenge. What do you attribute that to? What do we need to change?
So, Bishop, first I would mention the election in 2024 was the closest presidential race in the 21st century, and the closest presidential race in the history of the race for president, one of the top 3 closest races ever. And we had 107 days to do what we did, and it was that close. So I do believe America can be and will be ready for a woman to be president of the United States. And I strongly believe, you know, I mentor, as we all do, a lot of people. And one of the things I will say to our young people, and I know we have many here, is don't ever let someone's limited ability to see your capacity to be a limitation on your ambition for yourself. That's their limitation, not ours. Not ours.
You know, she spoke about it being the closest race of all time. And I don't want to take a shot at Kamala Harris, but when I think about her saying that, you know, she should have won if she was the right woman. And I think America is ready for a woman president. But if, you know, America is a Christian country and it lives by that Bible, the Bible says something about leadership that I think everybody should read. I ain't even going to get into the specifics of it, but female leadership that I think it should read, you know, and get up to speed on. She wasn't the woman for the job. If what people assume Trump to be, a felon, a all word, a criminal, you know, he beat you out. If that type of person beat you out, then you wasn't the person for the job, because people didn't believe you. They didn't believe you was going to do the things that you said. They looked at the state that you represented, California, which is in shambles right now. The taxes is too high. The millionaires is leaving. The companies is leaving, and they going to a tax-free state like Tennessee. Texas, and the Carolinas. Gavin Newsom and you is doing a horrible job in California, and the country don't want to look like California. Real talk. I'm gonna move along in the conversation. Offset, he was recently shot, and we talked about this conversation. So he says he has a gladiator mentality in his first interview after being shot. I think it's some video to this though, but I want to read to y'all though what he said. He said he has a gladiator mentality. The Creators Inc. podcast shared a new interview with Offset that was recorded a week after he was shot in the hip outside of a South Florida casino on April 6th. I got to keep pushing. I'm like the Energizer Bunny, the former Migos rapper said of his speedy recovery. When asked about his mental state since the shooting, Offset responded, gladiator mentality, man. The show don't never stop at the end of the day. Offset was wounded during a shooting in front of a Seminole Hard Rock resort and casino following a fight with Little TJ's crew. TJ was arrested for disorderly conduct in connection with the incident. The FBI has since taken over the case and are looking for multiple suspects. Wow, that should let y'all know the FBI has taken over. A few days after the shooting, Offset shared a heartfelt message about his plans to do better. Thank you to everyone who's checked in on me and showed me love. I'm good, but I'm planning to be better, he wrote. I'm focused on my family, my recovery, and getting back to the music, realizing that life is made up of quiet wins and loud losses. Life is a gamble, and I'm still playing to win. Kiss my ass. That nigga said, life is a gamble, and I'm still playing to win. So he's still prioritizing gambling. Let me see if they got some videos in this. Oh, they do. See what's Set talking about.
What's up, Set?
What's up with it, Andy?
I don't know, man. You only got shot 6 days ago, and that was in Florida, and now you're here in LA. How the hell did you even get here? Like,
we gotta keep pushing like the Energizer Bunny, man. Keep this shit pushing.
Like,
got time to be slowing down?
I mean, you got shot, and then you spent a day in the hospital. Then you were like, I'm gonna do this concert. So you come out and you do the concert. This was legitimately 6 days ago. How did you get to LA with a hole in your second butthole?
You gotta go G5, sorry. Had them bring the bed out, lay on that thing for 6 hours, go to sleep. You cool.
Talk about, listen, adversity. I feel like, a really smart person once told me, he said, have you ever noticed that you're not anxious at the airport? Meaning, you fly private a lot, but when you go to the airport or when you were on tour with Migos and things like that, it's like, okay, you get to the airport, you check in, you get through security, you get on the plane, and you're like, you got blinders on because you have a checklist, right?
Yeah.
Now, something like this happens to you. Tragic. And all of a sudden, does your brain just go through checklists? Obviously, you're in pain, but number one, I need to get to the hospital. I need to get checked out. But it's like, I don't really know what to say. I don't even know how to ask you. Like, you got shot 6 days ago and you're here in LA back on your grind. And in between that, you did a concert. So, you got to at least give me some insight into your mind.
Gladiator mentality, man, the show don't ever stop. At the end of the day, I was blessed enough to be able to still move, So I'm still moving. I ain't really, I didn't really have a checklist for it. I just felt like, okay, maybe I need to be ducked off a little bit more, locked in, working on my craft and figuring out what's my next move in the music. All the other shit was just like distractions and just getting in the way of just doing shit, being places, wrong time. But we here, man. I'm pushing, man. At the end of the day, the grind don't stop, bro. I don't want nobody to feel sorry for me or no shit like that. Like, people get shot every day, bro. Like, I'm blessed. I can keep pushing, so why would I just sit down? I gotta keep pushing, gotta keep going.
Hey, as soon as you got shot, you must have been like, check the pee-pee. Pee-pee
No, I was straight on that. I just got hit in my hip. So that was cool.
Okay, so for the record, pee-pee works.
For the record.
Thank God. That's very important. I don't know what she put in this, but I feel.
Don't you feel something?
I'm going to say this before I get into my perception of this. Buddy was talking too much, man. The interviewer was talking too much. You know, no shot at Offset or whatever, though, but sometimes I be feeling like artists be doing what the label tell them to do. I remember when Young Thug first got out of jail, he gave that interview to the Caucasian guy at GQ. Now, after the shooting, the biggest time in your career or whatever, or one of the biggest time in your career, you give the interview to this corny ass white boy. You know, no disrespect, not being racist or whatever though, but he was asking stupid questions. You got the IV up there and everything, and I salute you for saying gladiator mentality and the work don't stop, because all people need to hear that about work and continuously moving forward. Because in life don't stop, man. If you can go. That gambling and the things that you got going on, man, you got to tighten up, Offset, man. Your life is important. You got kids, you got family. You was married, just recently divorced from the one of the biggest female artists in the game, and I want to see if this article even has more to say about this. Nah, that was the end of it, just the videos. He talks about his gladiator mentality and all of that, and he like the Energizer Bunny. He got to keep pushing. Salute the Offset, man. One time, let me give him a round of applause. You know, I hate to see the state of the Migos and how they are non-existent no more. How Offset almost lost his life the same way that Takeoff lost his life, gambling. Gambling is an addiction that I don't condone. I don't participate in, because I know competition and money brings envy. You know, you can do it all you want to, man. But, you know, be cautious. That's all I'm going to say. Be cautious, real talk. I want to get into this Southeastern conversation. People moving from New York to Charlotte and the Carolinas. People moving from California to Texas and Tennessee. Right now, it's a boom in the Southeastern region. This is kind of a long clip, but we're going to play this whole news clip and we're going to give a take on it. And I want to know in the comment section, where y'all from? How is it where y'all from? Do y'all have an expectation of moving to the Southeast? Are y'all interested in it? Are y'all like, nah, y'all can keep that? I'm located in Charlotte, North Carolina. It's beautiful down here. Real talk. But let's get into the video.
America has covered a lot of ground over its short history, and it's on the move again. This time, the shift is political and geographical, with people leaving blue states and heading straight for red ones.
This is the greatest wealth transfer in the history of the United States. We've never seen anything like this.
Economist Stephen Moore sums it up pretty well. Billions of dollars shifting as millions pack up in droves. The latest census data shows a clear trend. California, New York, Illinois, New Jersey, Massachusetts, and others like them are losing people. It's been labeled the blue state exodus. Meanwhile, red states are benefiting and booming, like Texas, Florida, the Carolinas, Alabama, Arkansas, Georgia, and Tennessee in the South, and Utah out west. The main drivers behind this great migration center on sky-high housing costs, a mountain of regulations, and yes, tax rates.
If they continue to charge 10, 11, 12, 13, 14% income taxes when you can pay zero income tax in Tennessee and Texas and Florida, that's not working out very well. So progressivism is destroying blue states.
Add to that government mandates for green energy. Many business leaders say that pretty much just doubles power expenses for residents. And it doesn't stop there. Many of these blue states choose unionization over right to work, often making it harder for businesses to operate or even relocate. Meanwhile, states on the other end of the political color spectrum offer low taxes, lighter regulation, school choice expansion, and more conservative social policies. That's a combination many families don't want to pass up. Joel Kotkin is a presidential fellow in urban studies at Chapman University.
People move in part because they don't feel comfortable anymore in where they are. This is very much expressed in the public schools, where not only are they not teaching particularly well, but they're also imposing ideologies on people. And I think that drives some people to red states.
Kotkin says for many Americans, it comes down to a simple cost-benefit decision. What am I paying, and what am I getting in return?
In a state like California, you pay high taxes, but you don't get much for your money. Schools still are pretty bad in much of the state. The roads are in terrible shape. The infrastructure isn't keeping up. So, people have to make a rational choice.
And it's not just families. A growing number of billionaires, CEOs, and major corporations looking at the numbers are choosing states with lower taxes and a more business-friendly climate.
The people who are moving out are the millionaires and billionaires, and they're taking their incomes, their jobs, their businesses with them.
For more than 200 years, the Northeast was the country's economic engine. New York, Philadelphia, Boston, Baltimore. It was the proverbial pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. Not anymore.
For the first time, starting 2 years ago, the Northeast is no longer the dominant economic section of our country. Now the region that's the dominant region is the South.
And this shift could lead to major political consequences. At this rate, the congressional map is expected to see a major reshuffling after the 2030 census. The respected Brennan Center predicts conservative red states will pick up 12 House seats, lost, by the way, by liberal blue states. It also brings seats in the Northeast down from 92 to 81. Southern states would add 19, taking their total to 164 seats. It could also mean a net gain of 10 electoral votes in states won by President Trump in 2024. The bottom line, this shift means the days are gone when the so-called hillbillies moved to Beverly Hills.
Said California is the place you ought to be, so they loaded up the truck and they moved to Beverly.
Now it's people are moving from Beverly Hills, California to Arkansas. Now they're moving to Oklahoma, and they're moving to even the states that once were considered backwater states. That's how embarrassingly counterproductive these policies are in these big blue states.
Add to that how blue states have taken a major ideological turn.
In many of the very deep blue cities, it's really now a race between moderately left-wing progressives and extremely left-wing progressives. And that's not a very good atmosphere for business. It's not a very good atmosphere for families.
The result is an America continuing to change before our very eyes. David Brody, CBN News, Washington.
This was super interesting to me because I lived my whole life in the South, Eastern region. I spent some time in D.C., and I love D.C., but to see Charlotte, North Carolina become what it is today, it's the number 2 financial hub in the United States in North Carolina, besides being New York being number 1, but I could see it teetering to Charlotte here soon because you can slip up on $1 million around here. It's the financial hub. It's money all over the place, and it's opportunities all over the place. And right beside it is my home state of Tennessee. And I see the boom of Nashville, the boom of Knoxville, the boom of Gatlinburg. And it's just interesting to see the wealth transfer. But I want to say something to the people. Is this wealth transfer in your interest, or is it just an opportunity for a job? Because those people that's coming with those companies, they don't care about you. I'm just being honest. We can't get excited over some buildings being built up and Amazon coming and these banks, and they trying to move professional teams to Nashville from Memphis and all of this old stuff going on. We can't be excited about that because those people are coming to profit for themselves. They ain't thinking about you. You know, they're capitalists, and capitalists don't care about the people. So this region is going to change. I view Charlotte and Myrtle Beach as the East Coast Los Angeles. It's just a different place. And the reason they coming over here is because of tax purposes. You know, the taxes are low, so their profits are going to be high. Now, one thing that I want to talk about before I move along from this conversation and get into another topic is ideology. You know, political impact. These are red states, but you have an influx of people coming from blue states here and bringing their ideology and their capitalist mentality here. I've grown up around people that look like me and black people that always wanted to vote for the Democrats and, you know, prioritize the Democrats because they felt like they looked out for them. They gave them assistance. They helped them and stuff. But if you live in a Democratic city, you have a totally different view of that. And their ideology and the way that they move and think that the LGBTQ and these migrants, they're going to bring all of that with them. And they're going to mess up your beautiful state. And you're going to have a totally different perspective of what that party represents and what they do. Real spill. What's your thoughts about this, man? The Southeastern migration, man. I want to know people's take on in the comment section about this because I feel like it's very important. And I feel like it's something that needs to be discussed further. I want to get into this conversation of this lady named Ashley Gonzalez. She was a Houston police. She worked for the HPD. She was in the military and all of that. And she went super viral for her take on black people. I think this was TikTok or one of them apps where, you know, people turn their camera on and say some things. But to be in government and coming from another country, I can imagine like what it takes to do that and how much effort and work she had to put in to achieve that. Salute to her for that. But to crash out and lose your opportunity based upon your feelings and emotions is crazy.
The amount of times that I will always and forever say that I fucking hate niggers. Oh my god, I fucking hate chimps. Like, I hate y'all. Like, I don't fucking, oh, we were slaves this entire, I don't give a fuck, nigga. Like, for a fucking reason, you guys were fucking slaves. You guys don't know anything better than to fucking steal. Like, oh my fucking god, nigga. Like, I was literally eating fucking food with my friend. He had his, oh my god, like, I don't know, por Dios, por gracias de fucking Dios, I had my fucking wallet next to me, like my whole purse, and those fucking, like, that little fucking small ass chimp decided not to fucking steal my fucking wallet, nigga. Oh my god, nigga, I would have grabbed my heel and like whooped the fuck out of that nigga's ass. But like, whatever, right? Some other but no homo or nothing. Y'all don't know how good it felt to say like out loud, like goddamn, nigga, like oh my god, I felt like I was back in the Marine Corps, nigga. Like I kid you not, I don't know what the fuck came over me. I grabbed that nigga by the neck and I was like, come here, you fucking nigger. And oh my god, like I felt like the world just stopped. Like it was just peace.
I'm just gonna continue to play the videos. This was the news talking about her being fired, and I'm gonna give my perspective on the foolishness that she's spewing. Let's go.
The message from the community was pretty clear this morning when protesters took in front of HPD headquarters here around 8 a.m. They were calling for the termination of HPD officer Ashley Gonzalez, and just about 15 minutes ago, Houston police confirmed her termination with a statement. We do want to read that out for you real quick, just to make sure we get all of that wording correct. But again, Houston police just posting this statement. It says the Houston Police Department has terminated the employee employment of Ashley Gonzalez. As of today, she is no longer an employee of the department. HPD holds every officer to the highest standards of integrity and conduct and will not waver in upholding these expectations. After discovering the incident, Ashley Gonzalez was immediately relieved of duty in compliance with state civil service laws. An investigation was conducted as fast as legally possible. Now, this is a quote from Chief Noe Diaz. It says the behavior exhibited by Ashley Gonzalez was abhorrent, disgusting, and entirely unacceptable. He continues to say it is deeply disturbing and has no place in law enforcement or in our community. Now, again, this is after a viral video that appeared to show Officer Gonzalez repeatedly using racial slurs. And while HPD did have her on administrative leave earlier today, we do know that is no longer the case. This morning, we heard from both Quanell X and Dr. Candace Matthews, who organized the protests outside of HPD headquarters.
Okay, so Angie, let's talk about the community. I mean, when this video went viral initially off the top, talk about the community reaction and the pushback from that.
Right, so we saw several protesters here earlier this morning. Like I said, we saw a couple of them kind of sharing the same sentiment that they wanted her to be terminated. There was kind of a question as to whether she would be able to resign or if she was going to be fired by Houston police. So when protesters gathered, they wanted to make sure that she would be terminated, which we now know is the case.
All right. Angie, thank you so much for that. We'll continue to follow it up, and I know other community members as well has wanted to make sure that she will never be able to be a police officer in any other department in the state. We'll see if her being fired actually leads to that here, and the state also takes action. Angie, thank you so much.
Before I get into my commentary, I want to salute to the protesters. You know, my thoughts about this situation is that the protesters and the people that's disgruntled about this need to, continue to follow her, because she's going to go search for opportunity elsewhere. She was formerly in the Marine Corps. She's formerly in police at Houston or whatever. And Houston is an interesting place. I had thoughts to move to Houston, Katy, Texas, or a surrounding area and work in Houston, but it's really not of my interest no more because they are majority not like me. Houston and Miami is the cities that I like, those cities, but I don't like that it's not black people there as a majority, or, even Caucasians. I've dealt with them majority of my life in Tennessee, and I ain't got nothing against white people. I got a lot of white friends, to be honest, but I'm not used to dealing with other ethnicities that come from other countries and start to view themselves as someone that should be prioritized over people that is foundational to this land. Hearing her say that, and she spoke about black people don't do nothing but steal. It was a reason y'all were slaves. It sounds like an uneducated person. Real talk to me. She talked about it feels good to be able to call somebody a nigger. She said, I felt like I was in the Marine Corps. What y'all doing in the Marine Corps? That made her, say that she felt good, and it felt like she was in the Marine Corps again. I want to say something about this. The Democrats allowed them in, and that's what they think of us. They prioritized, illegals and migrants and try to bring them in to be able to get votes and stuff like that. And those individuals feel like they're white. They don't even identify with the place that they came from no more. They want to be white. And, salute to the Houston PD for firing her. Salute to the protesters for firing her. But continue to push forward, because that type of hatred should not be allowed in any corporate, any legal setting. That is just nasty work. And I feel like, it should be laws passed, hate crime bills, like how they did for the Asians, for black people, for the people. They gave an Asian hate crime bill. They protect the Jewish people that's not from over here. but they don't protect the people are past bills or past reparations to protect the people that's from here, that's actually Americans and identify with America. And, we are impactful in every aspect of this country, but they don't prioritize us or defend us in a political aspect. That's nasty work. Real talk. Salute to the protesters. I want to move along in the conversation. I got 2 more topics I want to discuss. Boosie and Vlad, as a content creator, this is something that I have to speak on. I really don't want to because it's a racial aspect to this. I want to be able to vouch for Boosie, but I can't in this aspect because something Boosie did is unprecedented. It's something that needs to be addressed, so we won't have other people do this. And let's get on into the conversation because Vlad responded to the things that Boosie had to say in his live or whatever that he was talking about. He wanted an extra $5,000. Vlad said he wanted an extra 10. It got confusing, but I came to an understanding with this thing and I want to give a take on it.
That I don't need podcasts. Podcasts need me. Cat. And also he said that whenever people talk about Vlad TV, they would mention Boosie. Because Boosie was a big draw of Vlad TV. Now, number one, he's absolutely right. For a long time, when people talked about Vlad TV, they talked about Boosie because he was the biggest guest for a long time, and I truly appreciate that. I truly appreciate all the interviews that me and Boosie did together because they're monumental, timeless interviews. Boosie is great in front of the camera. Has a great personality. He's animated. He has really strong opinions. He's really a perfect guest for Vlad TV. But here's the flip side of that also.
I'm going to let him cook here in a minute, but I want to give a take about that because for me, Boosie wasn't the reason that I watched Vlad TV. I watched Vlad TV because Vlad was creating high quality content. He was actually showing people how you should do it and how it should be done. Vlad is a hell of a content creator. That's what I want to say. And, I'm not a person that's an advocate for Vlad TV or his morals or who he is as a person because I don't conduct myself in the way that Vlad conducts himself. It's a lot of questioning that he asks that let me know that he doesn't prioritize the best interests of the people. But he creates good content, and I'm not going to be a liar. And Boosie was one of those people, but the guy that, I forgot the guy's name. He's locked up right now, but he was snitching on himself about the Tupac incident. Keefe D. Keefe D should get a lot of credit for Vlad TV's evolution because Keefe D, the way that he was telling on himself was unprecedented. That he would do that on the camera and look at himself and look at that camera and say the things that he said for attention, for whatever Vlad was paying him. I don't know what the payment was, but it was just interesting to see him do that. Now let me let Vlad continue on.
Boosie's musical career peaked around 2014 or so.
Yeah, it's been at least a decade.
Because, he went to jail. He had all these big songs, and he went to jail for 4 years. He came out, and the landscape had changed a little bit. And right around 2016, that's when me and him started doing interviews. And over those next 10 years, we got to know who Boosie was as a person, not just as a musical artist. And that made a big change, I feel, in how Boosie is perceived. Because if you look at Boosie in 2026 and you take away all the Vlad TV interviews and all you have is his music, I don't think that Boosie would be where he is popularity-wise.
No, because the music is not driving that. Actually, I remember, I don't know if you were paying attention, when he was out doing makeshift plays, Ray J was on the play. Right? They were doing plays, you know what I'm saying? So this platform, yes, the guests that come help the platform. But it's the platform that has millions of followers that may not know who you are. It's a different demographic, and when you got a guy that got 2, 3, 4, 5 million followers, it may be some people know you, some people don't. But again, it gave people conversation on who he was.
Right. Listen, did a lot of people get introduced to Vlad TV because of Boosie? 100%.
Yeah.
But if you go to a Boosie concert, how many of those people in that audience haven't watched a Vlad TV Boosie interview? Probably almost none. I am positive that all the times that we've gone viral together, all the Boosie memes are Vlad TV interview memes. You're not going to tell me that all that exposure and those millions of people watching didn't increase your bookings, didn't get you new fans. We both helped each other.
Y'all helped each other.
We both helped each other. And when it comes down to it, because he said something interesting, he said that, hey man, I'm just hustling, I'm trying to make extra money. And that's cool. But hustling and making extra money at the expense of your business partner who you've been rocking with for 20 years is not really hustling. You're just squeezing the other party out of their profit margin. And I was already saying that in these interviews, he got 25, I got 10.
That 25-10 piece matters a lot. Because Boosie was taking majority of the profit, Vlad was taking less. Boosie is the star, Vlad is the content creator. Boosie wanted more and expected Vlad to take less. And I feel like if they had that relationship, which Vlad put up videos that they really was rocking with each other for 20 years, that it's really interesting to see how money impacts people. You know, I think Boosie will be fine. I think Vlad will be fine. I like seeing Boosie trying to dunk at the Atlanta Hawks and the Knicks playoff game, and he failed to do that, and he's still shining. He's still smiling. He's still doing his thing. But I want to say something in closing. You know, I feel like that was a bad business decision on Boosie's part. You know, race doesn't matter in this aspect. I see a lot of content creators put in race in the perspective of this conversation, and it doesn't even matter because they was beyond race. You know, Boosie was allowing Vlad to come to his compound and shoot content. When you allow people to come to your house, I got people that I'm friends with that has never seen my home. I feel like $5,000 wasn't worth it. I feel like 6ix9ine getting the bag that he got had an impact on it. But you know, if y'all are a team, then y'all are a team and y'all evolving this thing. And him having 6ix9ine on the platform doesn't have nothing to do with you, Boosie. You know, if you go back right now, you may look crazy. But if I was you, I would go back immediately and have the conversation about why I felt the way that I felt. Because it's just an important thing to do. Let me play Boosie's response. Let's go.
I need all my fans to support it. But for the fake fans, let me check y'all for feeling like I've done Vlad something wrong. First of all, I'm the one made y'all like Vlad. All the black community was against Vlad. He's a rat. He sends people to jail. People die after his interviews. All this shit. I the one made y'all accept him. First it was, Boosie, he talk over you in an interview. I hate Vlad. Everybody go on this thing. Why does he ask questions that send people to prison? What I used to do, I stood up every time. No, they send themselves to prison. So the whole black community, everywhere I went, they was Vlad hate, Vlad hate. Everywhere I go, why do you mess with him? He is a culture vulture, all this. It was all this about Vlad. I made you guys accept Vlad. I steady went on his podcast and made you guys accept him. He sent people to jail. No, they send themselves to jail. Why does he ask questions? I don't know. All I know is he's not what y'all shaping him up to be. But the whole black community Even the rappers, you know how many rappers caught me and say, man, why you that white boy, man? Why, bro? When he do all this, why, Boosie? He's the same up now will go on a Vlad TV interview. So remember the hate you had for him. I made you accept him. Boosie, I made you accept him. Everybody was negative. Corona time, everybody. This was everything, every vlog, every site I went to. Boosie, why do you f with him? Why do you do this? Why do you do this? I made y'all accept him. Street at first did not want to go on Vlad TV. But Boosie doing it, so that makes it okay for them to do it. So realize that when y'all say this and that, like I've done, no, man. I stood up for this dude a million times, bro. When the whole industry was calling him the police, this, that, he's this, y'all was making him out to be such a bad person. I made you accept him. I made you still f with him. Remember that.
I'm going to get off of this topic and move along with the conversation because I feel as if, Boosie just explained what I said, 5K, you vouched for him. What you vouched for was worth $1 million. He should have gave you $1 million for that vouching if that voucher had the impact that you said that it had. It's a sad situation because, we prioritize money in this country to a point to where it affects relationships. It hinders relationships. And it gets you the things that you want that you may not even need at the moment. I would like to see Vlad and Boosie continue on with their greatness and continue on to evolve what they got going on, but create a platform together and share the finances. Because I feel like Boosie is going to learn quick that content creation is algorithmic based. What Vlad has been doing is unprecedented. He created that platform, and that platform is going to continue to thrive with or without Boosie. Hey, wish both of y'all brothers well, man. Let me go on and give y'all a round of applause. We're going to get up to speed on Trump rushed from the White House Correspondents' Dinner after shots was fired. D.C. is my favorite city in the United States of America. I love D.C., but something had happened that was interesting, man. This is some tight little lettering, though, but we're going to read it. The suspect home of the man accused in the White House Correspondents' Dinner shooting has been secured by the FBI and local law enforcement, Fox News has learned. The suspect was identified as Cole Allen, 31, of Torrance, California, according to a law enforcement briefing to Fox News Digital. A federal judge in the Central District of California is expected to sign a search warrant. The U.S. Attorney's Office told Fox News once the warrant is approved, the FBI will be able to search the suspect's home. Obtaining the warrant could take several hours. Fox correspondent Matt Finn contributed to this report. What was interesting, man, I seen Trump fall when they was trying to rush him off of the stage. Trump is getting up there in age. He can't even walk fast no more. J.D. Vance, they got him up out of there quick. Before Trump. Erica Kirk was there, and she left crying. I know she has been in a lot of traumatic situations, and everything it may be sensitive to her right now. But let me continue to read this article because this is according to Fox News, a platform that prioritizes Trump. Torrance mayor responds after resident identified as suspect in White House Correspondents' Dinner shooting. I got a partner that live in Torrance, California too, man. One of my closest partners. He The mayor issued a statement after a city resident was identified as the shooter. The suspected gunman was identified as Cole Allen, according to law enforcement briefing of Fox News Digital. Tonight, our community joins the nation in condemning the violent incident that occurred in Washington, D.C. during the White House Correspondents' Dinner. Mayor George Chin said in a statement, "We are grateful to the federal law enforcement officers and first responders whose swift actions helped prevent further harm, and we wish the injured agent a full recovery." He added, "We are aware of reports identifying the suspect as a resident of Torrance." Chen emphasized the suspect does not represent the city. While the connection is deeply troubling, one individual's alleged actions do not define our city or the values or more than 143,000 residents who call Torrance home, he said. Torrance is a community built on respect, diversity, hard work, and public safety. The city of Torrance stands firmly against political violence, extremism, and acts of hatred in any form, Chen continued. We reject attempts to sow fear or division, whether here, at home, or anywhere in our country. Chen said the city will continue working with the law enforcement. In moments like this, we are reminded that our shared values are stronger than the actions of any one person. So let's get into this, man, because I want to. Secret Service official says gunman stopped at first contact after White House shooting. So where was he stopped at? Tonight, a coward attempted to create a national tragedy, Quinn said in a statement. He underestimated the protective capabilities of the U.S. Secret Service and was stopped at first contact. The strength of our layered security posture was evident with a myriad of countermeasures still ahead, he added. Grateful for the brave men and women of the Secret Service and our valued law enforcement partners. The suspected gunman was identified as Cole Allen. We done read this, man. They done popped up at Buddy's house. So the D.C. Police Department, let's see what the update on shooting at Washington Hill. One suspect is in custody and is believed to have acted alone. 2 firearms and multiple knives have been covered. A Secret Service uniform division officer was injured in transport with 9 life-threatening injuries. So they talking about the Trump ballroom push. The dinner shooting renews spotlight on Trump ballroom push. The shooting inside the venue hosting the annual White House Correspondents' Dinner has renewed attention on Donald Trump's push for a secure White House ballroom, an idea he argues could help reduce such risk. Trump pointed to the incident to criticize the hotel as insufficiently secure, promoting a new ballroom with features like reinforcement materials. You know, a lot of people dislike Trump, but I feel like he is one of the most decorated, one of the most iconic people to build real estate, to build spaces. And I feel like that White House ballroom isn't a bad thing. A lot of people want to keep that place unique and to keep its original structure and stuff like that. But I feel like this isn't a bad thing, renewing and making it more safe. The planned 90,000 square foot space will seat about 650 people and replace the East Wing, making a major change to the White House footprint. Supporters frame it as a largely privately funded security upgrade, while opponents see it as an unnecessary overhaul. I don't feel like that. You know, I'm going to give my take and I'm going to close the podcast off with my take. Thank y'all for tuning in. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel and everything, man. I'm very appreciative of everybody's support. I didn't vote for Kamala. I didn't vote for Trump. I felt like chaos was going to just ensue with Trump being in the office, as chaos was around COVID-19 and all the things that he did when he was president previously. He's been in the office under 2 years and so much has happened. I want him to have a successful presidency. I want him to evolve the country and put Americans first. But the way it's looking is it's just going to be chaotic until he's out the office. You know, nobody died. The person was apprehended. This could be just news and something to keep the people in an uproar and to keep the people head on the swivel and they, you know, on their toes or whatever. But, you know, guard your heart, guard your ears, because we're living in crazy times, man. Appreciate y'all for tuning in to my show. Peace, love, plenty of abundance. Make sure you go get you some money, and I'm gone. Chill.
The Trevor Jackson Podcast.